I'm looking at parents who've got young kids in the congregation. I'm looking at parents who used to have young kids in the congregation and are still recovering from trying to get them out of the house. You know exactly what I'm talking about. Parents, my goodness, I remember when my kids were 2 and 4. Just the process of getting them from this side of the door to this side of the door with their hats and their shoes and their gloves and their socks and their snacks and their water bottles and their lunches was exhausting. And I remember looking at my 2-year-old and my 4-year-old just not moving quickly, and in a shining moment of parenting, looking at them and saying, "We're going to be late because of you!" And they're looking up at me. They don't care at all. Now, you know exactly what I'm talking about. So now you fast forward. My kids are 8 and 10 years old, wonderfully competent. As Tali said during Simchas, Lauren was gone for a couple of days on a work trip. So it was just the 3 of us, right? Trying to get these kids out the door is a breeze. Trying to get me out the door is the problem. So just this morning, we were talking about this. Eliana and Tali, the bus comes at 9 o'clock. It was 8:55, and we got to move. Eliana and Tali, they have got their backpacks, their jackets, their socks, their shoes, their water bottles, their lunches, the snacks, everything. And I'm putting on my shoes, and they're turning back to me saying, "Daddy, we're going to be late because of you." And I'm looking at them like, that's my line. Come on. But it takes a lot to get to work, even like a couple miles away, right? It takes a lot to get to work. I want you to just imagine the packing list as you are leaving Egypt and entering into the wilderness. Just imagine the things that we have to pack. In fact, it is such an extensive list that I took the time to memorize it for you this Friday night. I've got the list right here because I'm so smart. I want to give you the list of things that we packed to enter into the promised land. Are you ready for this? I've been hiding it back here the whole time. We left Egypt, entering into the promised land, the wilderness, with a box of matzah and a bowl. That's it. There is nothing else. We left with a box of matzah and a bowl. And if you don't believe me, I'm just going to give you the verse right now. So the people took the dough. We were in a big hurry. Took the dough out before it was leavened. That's matzah. Their kneading bowls, wrapped in their cloaks, and we left. And we left. Now, there's a lot to worry about when you're entering into the wilderness. And I say this as someone who takes no joy in packing and has no skill in packing. I'm not good at packing. My family knows this. My wife actually is our family packer. I pack myself, but sometimes I forget things. My wife is the one who packs up our family. Is anyone sitting next to their family packer? Point to your family packer if you're sitting next to them. There you go. If you're sitting next to your family packer, I want you to, if you're comfortable doing it, just put your arm around them, say, "I love you, I care about you, I appreciate you. I love you, I care about you, I appreciate you." Exactly right. My kid just says, she does our taxes too. "I love you." So if you are your family packer and you are going on a trip, you are worried about all the things that might come your way. You're worried about what happens if you get hot or cold, what happens if someone's tired, hungry, thirsty, what are the activities, what are you going to need to be dressed for, what are the restaurants going to be, what's the itinerary. There are all these things. If you're the family packer that you're thinking about, that you're worrying about, is my husband going to forget his jacket? The answer is yes. I want our family packers in the room. Now, to go back some 3,500 years, and you're entering into the wilderness, right? What are you worried about? What's coming down the pike? It's going to be hot during the day. It's going to be cold at night. You got to worry about this. Where's your next meal going to come from? Where's the next drink of water going to come from? You're worried about this. But you can think of those things in advance, family packer, because you're smart and you're good at this. I'll tell you what you're not going to expect. And we know this because we've read the Torah a couple of times over thousands of years. You're not going to expect the snakes or the scorpions. You're not going to expect the splitting of the sea. You are not going to expect these warmongering tribes who hound us for 40 years trying to take us down. You're not going to expect any of that. So how do you enter into the wilderness prepared for what might come next, especially when there's no way of knowing? Now, our Torah does not give us any helpful advice, unfortunately, for our packing list. But it does give us something that is rock solid certain. It gives us a number. I'm going to share that number with you. Our Torah in this week's Torah portion says that when we leave Egypt and enter into the promised land, that there are 600,000 men that come with us. I wish that it counted the women, but let's just do some rough math, 600,000 women. There are children as well. So what our Torah insists, and it gives us an actual number, you'll be thrilled with Algebra 1, that when we enter into the wilderness, we enter with people around us. 2 million people enter into the wilderness, which means that we don't know what's coming down the pike. We don't know what, but we are absolutely certain who is journeying the wilderness with us. We don't know what, but our Torah says we know who. Now, I have no idea what is coming down the pike. And in fact, I am consistently surprised by the things that come on my newsfeed. I never thought we'd be talking about Greenland this week. Honestly, though, I'm surprised. I've been a rabbi now for 15 years. With anti-Semitism surging on the right, with anti-Semitism surging on the left. I had no idea this would be on my dance card. Absolutely, for sure. But here it is. And I'll tell you, in these moments when I feel very much alone as a Jew, when pastors, when priests, when imams reach out to me to say, I'm thinking about you, I care about you, I'm here for you, I remember it. Right? That means something to me. It takes them all 2 minutes, but it sticks. And also personally, I'm looking around at people who have been in wilderness moments in life, people who have lost people they love, a parent, a spouse, a sibling, a friend, God forbid anybody else. Looking at people who've lost jobs, people who've gotten diagnoses that changed the trajectory of their lives. That's a wilderness moment. That's a wilderness moment. And the thing about entering into a wilderness moment is that when you enter into a wilderness moment, there are a lot of people who come your way. There are a lot of people who show up at the funeral. There are a lot of people who show up at the Shiva. There's a couple people who are going to call you after and bring you meals. But that's not when you need them. When you need somebody is when you're 100 miles into the wilderness and the dark is descending and the wind is howling and you feel so alone, and then someone calls and reminds you that you're not. And then someone calls and reminds you that you're not. The Jewish promise is not to avoid life's wildernesses. We can't. But as we journey through life's wildernesses, that there's going to be someone or someone's with us. That's the amazing thing about the Jewish story, right? If you've read the book of Genesis, if you know about Abraham, Isaac, Jacob, Sarah, Rebecca, Rachel, and Leah, these are our matriarchs and patriarchs, the people that started this story. Does anyone have the faintest clue what they believed about God? Anybody know? Torah doesn't say, that's for sure. Isn't it a crazy tradition that we have where the founders of our story, we have no idea what they believed? No idea. But let me tell you, as Abraham and Sarah journeyed through the wilderness, they journeyed together. They knew that. As Isaac and Rebecca journeyed through life's wilderness, they journeyed together. As Jacob, Rachel, Leah, as the tribes of Israel journeyed, we journeyed together. Our story is not just one about God, it's about each other. And when life's wildernesses come our way, we are not alone. That's the Jewish story. That's Jewish faith. I want to share with you a quote just to kind of wrap up. There's an amazing line by the late Rabbi Alan Lew, who I'm going to paraphrase it, but he writes about suffering. He writes about life's wildernesses. He says, why do we suffer? Why is there wilderness in life? He says, we suffer because we suffer. We suffer because suffering is one of those, he says, deep water mysteries of the human experience. I love that, deep water mystery of the human experience. He says that suffering cannot be explained. It cannot be understood. It can only be met by another deep water mystery of the human experience, that of human presence. Presence is a deep water mystery of who we are and how we move through the world. And I don't know what's coming down the pike for me. I don't know what's coming down the pike for you. But I can promise you, as a Jew, you are not walking alone. I can promise you, as someone who is here with someone, you are not walking alone. I can promise you, as people who prayed for the healing of someone you love, that they are not alone because you are in their lives. And if you said Misha Be'erach for someone, if you prayed for healing for someone, if you've thought about someone over this past week, I want this to be the week that you reach out to them. 5-minute text, hour cup of coffee. They are going to remember it for the rest of their lives. That's a promise. That's a promise. Because I cannot tell you what is going to be coming down the way. I can promise you, though, that as Jews, you never journey through life's wilderness alone. I want to just end on a line here. We said it. You said it beautifully. We even said it twice. The winding way to that promise passes through the wilderness. There is no way to get from here to there except by joining hands, marching together. Shabbat shalom.